Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to continue with our pre-race media avails. We've now been joined by Layne Riggs. If you have a question for Layne, go ahead and raise your hand. We're going to work to get the microphone around to you. And to kick us off, we'll start in the middle with Lee.
Thank you. SiriusXM NASCAR Radio and catchfence.com. Talk a little bit about Rockingham. You did the late model test there. What did you discover about the track?
Yeah, when I ran the late model there, it was pretty fast, even with the old asphalt. That was back in 2021. I remember holding it wide open in late model stock around Rockingham. That was pretty sketchy. So, with the old asphalt, the best tire they can make only held up 10 laps without wearing out. So, it was time for the repave for sure. I think they did a good job with it during the test. I thought it was cool. They still had some character in it, still had some bumps and dips, and but still kind of had the same characteristics the old track did. So, I'd say 10 years' time, it'll be just like it used to be. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to going there. It's close to home. Dad raced there. A lot of history at that racetrack. I hate that it was even off the schedule in the first place. So glad we're going back.
What's going to be the key to consistency behind the wheel of a truck?
At Rockingham? So at Rockingham, I think it's going to be a typical repave. I think it's going to be same kind of way that you ran North Wilkesboro. Everybody runs the bottom all day long, all practice, all qualifying. One person's going to find speed on the top, and then everybody's going to migrate to the top and just kind of build a cushion, and everybody's going to run the top. So, every place finally has to be repaved. We don't really like to see it. A lot of drivers like to see characteristics in a track and tire wear, but sometimes it just gets a little too egregious. So, it's gonna struggle a little bit to start, but that's any repave of a racetrack. So. I think it will be a little one grooved, either one grooved on the bottom or one grooved on the top, and hoping we qualify good and stay in front of everybody. That's the plan. Yep.
All right. Go ahead here.
Scotty Sprinkle, Race Face Digital. Got two for you, Layne. First one, you're defending winner here, won the last race here. What are the emotions like coming back, knowing that you won the last race here? And is there a little more swagger to you now that you're coming back as a winner?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people like, make sure you don't try harder. You don't have to win again. Just because you won here doesn't mean you have to win again. I fully believe in that. Every race is its own chance and opportunity. So, coming back, we brought the same exact chassis, truck, setup, and everything we did last year. It's looking like we're not going to have any practice or qualifying. So, I think it's going to be in our favor, at least in that aspect. So, I'm looking forward to it. I love this place. Had good success here. Even ran a late model race here, the short track nationals they had here years ago. It's definitely a place that definitely has an aura when you walk into it.
And Larson's back in the field running again. You battled with him a lot at Homestead, right at the front of the field. Was there anything that you were able to learn from that race at Homestead, battle him as much as you did, and what can you do to apply that to when you're probably racing him for the lead at some point later on tonight, more than likely?
Yeah, luckily nobody really runs the fence here, so I think I'll be okay in that aspect. But no, he did teach me a lot at Homestead, just running behind him. Being able to just scrape the wall with his right rear on the track. Went back, listened to his radio, the adjustments that he needed to make, that he called out, running the fence, stuff like that. So my notebook was pretty long after that race, and I knew that, just to even be in contention to race up there for the win and have a shot to win the thing at the end, I was really happy with our performance. That was a brand new truck from the Front Row Motorsports stable, chassis, body, finish fab, everything was done in-house. Pretty much took that on over the off-season, moving race shops. So, I'm really proud of our team. We're in the short amount of time, we've grown a lot doing everything in-house. So, when you go to a mile-and-a-half track like that and you can just have raw race speed in a place that I don't even have that much experience at, it just shows, how good of a pieces we're bringing to the racetrack.
All right, John.
John Newby, Savage Ventures and Alt Driver. I was curious, when you talked earlier about not having practice qualifying and being confident, being able to challenge people, what goes into being able to work through the field on a green track like that when you have no prior laps before the race starts? Yeah,
I think it's, I've actually never started a race and not had a single lap on the track. Obviously we've had, the super speedways, you get one lap of qualifying, but that's a little different. So it's going to be new. I've never, like I said, my first lap barreling in the corner has never been side by side with somebody. So I just think it's going to be a little tiptoe for everybody, but running plenty of laps in the sim. Bristol being a clean place, you go to some places and when the track's clean, it's really slick or, no rubber on it. It's just kind of dusty. Here it's going to have pretty good grip no matter what. So I feel confident in that. I know they laid some PJ1 down on the bottom. Hopefully it washed every single bit of that away. I'm not a fan of it. I thought the race here in the fall last year, not just because I won, but I thought it was a great race. I could run the very bottom, I could run the top, have really good speed in both lines. So, I like the maneuverability that's here. I feel like that takes away a little bit of it. So, hopefully it's gone and we can, I'm not going to be starting on the pole or front row. So hopefully I can just move up higher and pass people on the top early in the race. That's the plan.
And then looking at, last year it was just you as the lone truck driver front row. Now you have Chandler's teammate. I was curious, how do you two challenge each other or collaborate together before each race?
Yeah, I think that at the short track races, you really can't work together that much. You go to the speedways, obviously you can. Mile and a halfs, we'll try to help each other on restarts when we're all kind of packed up together. When you need a little bit of help with some push, so I feel like we've been really connected with each other and helping each other on the racetrack in that aspect, and just having 2 notebooks every week to look at post racing with two notebooks, 2 drivers, 2 crew chiefs. We're getting double the information we used to get, and it's really helpful in what we got. We can we both have our own ideas. We can try different things to see which one we thought did better. And you look at these other teams that have 4 and 5 trucks, they're getting 4 and 5 times more the information we used to get. So even to be a single truck team and run as well as we did, I was amazed how we could do that. Now just having double the information for us is helping a lot. And Chandler being a good driver, like I said, he's been great for me and helped me at some of the places, pre-race that I didn't really have experience at before. So yeah, it's all been good so far. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and building more with them.
All right, we'll go to Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Layne, you mentioned going back and listening to Kyle's radio after Miami. Is that a kind of a normal procedure as part of your post-race, or getting better in certain ways, or and what were you looking at or trying to or wanting to kind of get a better idea of?
Yeah, I think that you'd run out of time if you listen to everybody's stuff. But if it's certain situations, I remember they made a pretty big adjustment after the first stop. I was like, what was he calling out? He went on the radio and said, when I run against the fence, I'm this many numbers freer. I got to be tighter if I'm going to run the fence. Well, I didn't ever get up there early in the race, so I never really knew what I needed. Just him having the experience, being able to do it quick, call out what he needed, stuff like that, just getting an understanding of what his mindset was. Anytime that something kind of stands out, I always put a star on it and try to go figure out why somebody did the thing they did, and that's in any aspect on the racetrack. So, yeah, we got a lot of tools that we can pretty much spy on anybody at any point during the race. So, I kind of wish it was more private for sure, and, you see the Cup guys have code words and stuff like that, but if the resource is there, I'm going to try to use it all I can.
And for you, what does Rockingham mean to you? And I don't know if you had even childhood experiences with being there with your dad when he raced there, but obviously Rockingham has particular meanings to different people because of their experiences. What does Rockingham mean to you based off of your experience throughout your life?
Yeah, I think going to do the late model test like I talked about, obviously going there with Dad, I think it's an hour and 30 minutes from my home. So, it's a home track for a lot of people. We don't have a lot of tracks in North Carolina anymore, so it's pretty cool that, we're adding another one back. Everybody's seen the great races there they've had. Like I said, I hate that the track got taken off schedule in the first place, but glad that everybody collectively made the right decision to bring it back. So I think it's good for everybody. Hopefully, we see the revival at Wilkesboro. We see how big the grandstands were, how packed they were, and now it's almost starting to fizzle a little bit. I hope that the people that were really pushing to have it back do come in person, show up, support. You can't talk on social media and say you need to bring it back, and then when it does come back, don't support it. So hopefully it's supported for a long time and not just for a 1 race or 2 race hype that it's back.
All right, I believe we have an additional question over here. Go ahead.
Hi, Layne. Wyatt Tinsley, Race Face Digital. So you added a word sim. So how has the sim helped you this week, with the addition of not having practice or qualifying? How do you think that would help you this week with maybe starting back in the pack other than from winning last year?
Yeah, I think that the sim is a tool we use everywhere, and the sim's only as good as we can make it. Obviously, Ford Performance gives us a good baseline, good tools to use, but your tire error model, your setup model, that's all based off of what our team puts together. Ford, they give us a great tool to use, but we got to make sure the tools are all how we want them to be. So every race we go in, we post-race it. We put in the race model we ran, put in our error map, and then we adjust the tires to kind of feel what I feel in real life. And depends on how good I hit it in the post race scaling is how good it is the next time to use. So usually the tracks we run well at, I'm able to get it better, and then the tracks we kind of struggle at, which is kind of the snowball effect. The tracks you're not as good at, you can't really get it as close. So it's hard to get that edge and get better at those places. I feel like the places you're good, you get only better. The places you struggle at, it's hard to get any better than you were the time before. So, it's all a game and a gamble of how good you can get it on there, but it's definitely a good tool to use.
All right, we're going to have one additional follow-up here.
Scotty Sprinkle Raceway Digital back again. Car Store announced today they're doing the throwback race at Hickory on August 2nd. It's going to be over $200,000 purse, $30,000 to win for the stocks, $50,000 to win for the stocks, $30,000 for the pros. I'm just curious, you being a late model guy and coming up those ranks, how does that make you feel to see how much more is continuing to grow? And could you give us some more insight onto some of the late model stuff that you'll be doing this year?
Yeah, I haven't really locked down any races. I plan on running 3 or 4. Hopefully, my home track, Orange County. I know we're off that weekend. I'm trying to put a deal together to run there here in a couple weeks. Like I said, just heard about Hickory today. I haven't really ran that great at Hickory, but I always enjoy that racetrack. We'll probably be making an appearance there for sure now to go for the big money. So they announced the Wilkesboro race is going to be Friday night before our truck race. It's going to be on Fox. That's huge for the late model stock community. With the new ownership of the Cars Tour, Dale, and everybody having that push and the popularity to go behind it, it's been good. It is making it tougher, though, for somebody like myself that had our own race team. It's just getting really expensive. It's almost growing a little too big. It's great to have the eyes on it, but anything that grows is naturally going to get tougher and more expensive because people are going to be putting more into it to win. So, it's not quite a backyard, short track series anymore like it used to when I ran. It's definitely grown into a level of its own. So there's pros and cons to all of it. If you win one, it means a lot more, but it's a whole lot tougher and more expensive to do it now. So there's always that fine balance. But, I'm excited to run some more this year on our off weekends, and we have a little free time, dabble in it when we can. Like I said, I'm not really locked down on exactly which ones I'm going to run yet, but, no, it's great for the community for sure.
All right, Layne. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and best of luck tonight.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, guys.